Okay, imagine this.
Yep.
Your wedding day. But it's not about love, not even close. It's about stopping a war between species.
Yeah, that's exactly the setup in Bride. We meet Misery Lark, a vampire, who's about to marry where she's never even met, all to keep this, well, fragile peace.
It just throws you headfirst into this really unusual premise, doesn't it? A marriage of convenience vampire?
Mm-hmm.
We're just to prevent more bloodshed. Humans are caught in the middle, too.
Right, and for you listening, maybe wanting to get the heart of a complex story quickly, we're going to unpack the dynamics here. It's fascinating stuff.
Definitely. And just a quick note, check out Mindful Moments over on our YouTube channel. It uses AI analysis of books like this one to really spark some reflection, get you thinking critically about the themes.
Good point.
Yeah.
So back to Misery. What's striking right away is how she sort of accepts this situation, almost detached.
Yeah, like even as a kid, she apparently had this pragmatic idea about marrying her human friend, Serena, which, okay, didn't happen, but it shows her mindset.
Exactly. It kind of sets the stage for her current situation, this marriage to Lowe Moreland, an Alpha Werewolf, a total stranger. They don't even meet until the ceremony.
Right. 10 days beforehand, no dates, no getting to know you. Instead, she gets this whole wettable makeover. Manicures, stylists, the works.
And she's just watching it all happen, kind of wryly noting the absurdity. Her internal thoughts really highlight that there's no personal connection, no love, not even, basic acquaintance.
It's all overshadowed by these, expensive wedding favors and fancy preparations.
But beneath that cynicism, there are these really serious political stakes. Her brother Owen flat out says it. And they need this alliance for vampire survival.
So it's not just personal. It's species-level survival.
Absolutely. The book hints at, centuries of conflict. There were 5 previous interspecies marriages that brought peace for a time.
But then there was the Astor wedding. That sounds ominous.
Oh, it was disastrous, apparently. Ended the last attempt at an alliance and clearly serves as this constant warning. It really hangs over this new marriage.
It really emphasizes how risky this whole thing is.
Yeah.
And humans are key, too, right? Because the wares outnumber the vampires.
Exactly. So keeping the humans on side is crucial for the vampires. That's why her father, Councilman Lark, gets nervous when he hears about a human, Maddie Garcia, being friendly with wares. You see the tension there.
And Misery herself.
Yeah.
She's kind of an odd one out in vampire society, isn't she?
Yeah, described as peculiar, withdrawn as a child, not really interested in typical vampire things. Her father even says he chose her because she's emotionally detached. She's the collateral, a political piece.
Wow, that's harsh. No wonder she feels unwelcome.
Right. She makes these sarcastic comments about vampires needing rehabilitation, and her interactions with humans show that gap too. They're all crucifixes and garlic, assuming vampires are just monsters.
So then the wedding day comes, perfect night, outdoor ceremony, but awkward.
Very awkward. They even have a human philharmonic viola player, which is such a specific, slightly surreal detail. Artistry amidst all this tension.
And then finally she meets him, Lowe Moreland.
And this is where things really start moving. The photos didn't capture his eyes pale green, really striking, but his reaction to her, not good. He looks displeased.
But Misery, being Misery, she's not bothered.
Nope. She's used to disappointing people. It's almost like your problem, not mine.
Oh, okay. But secrets start emerging almost immediately, right? Something about a mate.
Yes. She overhears someone mention Lowe already has a mate, which, throws a huge wrench into the whole arranged marriage for peace thing.
Yeah, just a minor complication.
And then we meet Vanya, who turns out to be a vampire, purple eyes, fangs, the whole deal, a reminder of the hidden world.
And we get that flashback, don't we? Misery bringing Serena, her human friend, to vampire territory.
Right, and Serena's surprised it's all modern, not Gothic castles. It highlights these assumptions in contrast. Like the territories themselves, vampire, were separated by this heavily guarded river, one bridge nobody's used in decades.
And the vampire HQ is right near word territory, purposefully.
To remember and to remind, the book says. It really underlines that long, uneasy history between them.
So Councilman Lark eventually lays it all out for Misery. The real reason.
Yeah. It's the 6th attempt at an interspecies marriage for peace, and crucially, to keep the human alliance strong against the wares. He brings up the Astor disaster again.
And he's still worried about that human woman, Maddie Garcia, getting too close to the wares.
Exactly. The political maneuvering is constant.
So Misery arrives in were territory. How does that go?
Awkwardly. Very awkwardly. She meets Lowe's sister, Juno, who immediately gives her this list of strict rules. Total distrust.
Doesn't sound welcoming.
Not at all. And Misery has this fleeting thought of Serena, like a glimpse of her old life. Then there's this memory flash at diplomatic dinner, seeing a bracelet made of vampire fangs.
Oof, that tells you everything about the underlying hostility.
Right. But the Were home itself is surprising. Lakeside, warm, lots of windows. Not the sterile vampire style at all. Misery even thinks Lowe's house feels just right.
Interesting. And she meets a younger Were.
Yeah, another layer of initial awkwardness. Settling in isn't easy.
How does she cope? Sounds pretty restrictive.
Well, she has constant escorts, which makes her regret some of her initial standoffishness. She ends up sleeping during the day, lots of long baths, watching old human movies.
No internet, I bet. Security reasons.
You got it. Spying concerns. Her attempt to smuggle in devices failed. Her only link is these monitored weekly calls with Vanya. Total isolation, really.
Until Anna shows up. Lowe's other sister.
Exactly. Anna just walks into her room. She's innocent, curious, asks about Misery's pointed ears. It's like the first tiny crack in the wall.
A little connection.
Yeah. Misery learns about orphaned Were kids how protective Juno is of Anna. And this odd detail, Lowe, apparently doesn't sleep because of pneumonia. It adds this vulnerability.
So Misery starts looking for answers about Serena.
Driven. She sneaks into Lowe's room, finds a photo of Anna and their mother, tries to hack his computer looking for info on Serena, specifically the Herald.
And gets caught, of course.
Red-handed, her excuses are terrible, but then she just bursts out about Serena being her friend, her sister, this human she grew up with, and that Serena was a journalist. That explains the search for the Herald.
How does Lowe react? Furious.
Surprisingly. No, he doesn't punish her. He just asks very directly if she's sure Serena is okay. And Misery gives this really heartfelt explanation of their bond, how determined she is. And Lowe, well, he offers his trust, offers to help figure out who told Serena about Anna.
Wow, okay, a turning point.
It seems like it, but that whole mate issue is still hanging there. Then there's this incident with Max trying to grab Anna. Misery jumps in instinctively.
Protective instinct kicking in.
Yeah, but it turns out it was staged. A prana planned to see who Max was meeting, and Lowe handles Max quite gently afterward. It shows a different side of their pack dynamics.
Complex. And we learn about vampire powers. Thralling.
Right. Misery is tempted to use it on Max, which brings up the ethics. And we touch on more mating bonds, but Lowe is cagey about explaining their customs. Then Mick makes that cutting remark about Misery never having a home.
Which contrasts sharply with her feelings about Serena.
Exactly. But she and Lowe now have this shared goal. Find out who told Serena about Anna. He even gives her tech access, though Alex monitors her.
A fragile trust is forming.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Then there's this moment where Anna is scared, seeks comfort first from Lowe, then hides in Misery's closet. Another small connection. Misery even gets invited to a family dinner Anna cooked. It's also different from vampire isolation.
And the mystery around Anna's father deepens.
Yeah. Everyone thought it was Vincent, one of the former Alpha seconds. But Anna doesn't know. Lowe's mother never said. Could Serena have learned about Anna from Juno, or Cal, or Mick? The list of suspects grows.
But Lowe trusts Misery enough now for tech access, and he's going to California to meet Emery.
Right. Emery, the mate of Roscoe, the Alpha Lowe killed, adds another layer of political complexity.
And their personal dynamic is shifting too. Misery and Lowe.
Definitely. A subtle change. Misery offers tech help for his trip. Turns out Lowe used to live in Zurich, studied architecture. They bond over, of all things, Mario Kart and the design of the warehouse.
Finding common ground. What about vampire biology? Does that come up?
Misery explains feeding from a live source is outdated, but can be intimate. She reassures Lowe she won't bite him. Then she gets curious about wormates.
Ah, the million-dollar question.
He explains it's multi-sensory, scent, touch, this internal shift, and the bite is crucial. But then Misery has this dawning realization, the mate thing might not always be mutual.
Oh, that changes things significantly.
It really does. It shifts something in Misery. She says she doesn't want Lowe stuck with his mate if it's unfulfilling. Admits she cares a little about Anna, wants to help find the threat.
And she decides she needs to go with him. For Serena's sake, too.
Believing Serena would be proud she finally cares about something, and Lowe agrees. But there's a catch.
Always a catch.
She has to be marked, scented.
Okay, so they head off. Private plane.
Piloted by Lowe himself, and the tension on that plane is, wow. He stares at her intensely. She realizes he needs her explicit consent to scent her in the traditional Were way.
And the thought alone affects her.
Big time, like an electric feeling. He explains the process, pulse points, she gives permission.
Yeah.
The reaction is overwhelming for both of them. He scents her, and his reaction to her scent is just as intense. He basically admits he fucking loves it.
Whoa, okay.
And bam, they land. Emery's there. Talk about interrupting a moment.
So, meeting Emery, the mate of the guy he killed, how does that go?
Tense. Polite on the surface, but strained. Emery is definitely checking Misery out. You can feel the political undercurrents. Lowe holds Misery's hand, a protective gesture.
But Misery overhears something else about the mate, Gabi.
Yeah, Mick and Lowe talking. Misery misunderstands, thinks Lowe is hiding Anna from Gabi, so she tries to help, misguidedly. Leads to this charged moment where Lowe insists Gabi's happiness is paramount, with or without him. But then, unexpectedly, Misery scratches his head like a comforting gesture. Deepens the connection again.
These small moments keep building.
They do, and the trust grows. Misery asks to see him as a wolf.
Bold move.
He seems amused, shifts easily into this huge white wolf. Her reaction is surprise, but also affection. She actually feels safe sleeping next to him in wolf form.
Interesting. Especially since vampires supposedly don't dream, but her sleep is agitated unless he's near.
Yeah, and there's a flashback to her childhood as the collateral, that bond with Serena. It keeps coming back to Serena.
Then she sees Lowe on a video call, back in command mode.
Right. Patient, authoritative. But the second he sees Misery, his focus shifts entirely to her. Concern. He feels guilty about her being poisoned earlier. She reassures him the chemistry is just undeniable.
Leads to more intimacy. The bath scene.
Yes. Very sensual, lots of unspoken desire, tension. He struggles internally but gives in. It's raw, intimate, really deep about things.
But then, interrupted again. By Owen.
Owen, on a video call, sees them together, makes a pointed comment, and brings news. Serena's apartment was broken into. Nobody knows what was taken. Owen needs to meet them in person. Agent undisclosed info.
More complications. And Misery hasn't fed properly.
Right. It's taking a toll. She tries stored blood. Lowe stops her. And then he makes this incredibly earnest offer for her to feed from him.
Whoa. From the Alpha Werewolf.
Yeah. Shocking for her, but also intensely intimate.
What's the aftermath like?
Charged, vulnerable. He's possessive, tender, carries her to his room, more intimacy. They both kind of realize their compatibility is unconventional.
Okay, so things are intense. Then they're gift shopping. For a governor.
Yeah, bickering while trying to find a gift for Governor Davenport. Meanwhile, Lowe's people are tailing the governor. Alex is monitoring communications. The political plot keeps churning.
And Misery's still worried about Serena.
Desperately. Lowe tries to offer another perspective on her disappearance, but Misery won't hear it. Believes in Serena's character, worries about a child being involved.
And then Misery gets a clue about the mate, that it's not Gabi.
A subtle interaction, yeah. But right after, Lowe gets a phone call, his whole demeanor shifts. Becomes cold, distant. Oh. He just flatly orders Misery sent back to Warren territory, says it's too dangerous, the parting is awful, so much unspoken tension.
So she's sent back to Serena's empty apartment.
Yep, feeling rejected, humiliated. Mick picks her up. She tries to act normal, but she's worried sick about Anna, thinking she might never see her again.
But then she wakes up somewhere else.
To Serena's voice. Serena's alive, but captured, held somewhere, possibly War territory, with careful guards.
What's Serena's theory?
That the governor is a hybrid, wants to stop Were-human unity using Anna, thinks Misery snooping made her a target, and Serena confesses her own fears, uncertainty about what she is.
So they reunite inside the prison.
Emotional reunion, immediately planning escape. Their usual banter returns even in the danger. That bond is strong.
How do they get out?
Serena's quick thinking. Manipulates a guard. Bob. They escape surprisingly easily and realize they were actually in vampire territory, despite were guards.
What? Why? Who? Oh, her father.
Bingo. They run right into Councilman Lark, and he just lays it all bare. Taunts Misery, reveals he always preferred Owen, admits he knew about Anna for decades, planned to use Serena to find her.
He knew Serena was part Were.
Knew everything. Planned to exploit it. Serena is devastated. Then Lowe and Owen arrive. They've been working together.
Owen wasn't really captured.
Nope. Lark tries to thrall Lowe, fails, tries manipulating Owen.
Then he gets desperate.
Grabs Misery, knife to her throat, confesses everything, poisoning Misery, manipulating events, all to get to Anna or Liliana. Says he'd sacrifice Misery for the vampires.
Horrible. How does Misery react? Lowe.
Misery's defiant. Lowe is pure restrained fury. Then Ludwig, Cal, more wares arrive.
The cavalry.
Turns out Owen and Lowe planned Owen's capture all along to expose Lark, and it works. Lark is apprehended, Misery just feels this quiet satisfaction. Justice.
Wow. So what happens next? A new council.
Owen and Lowe actually suggest Misery join the council. She can hardly believe it, questions Owen's motives. But she wants a different future were and human cooperation.
And they're on board.
They commit to it. It's a whole new path.
What about Misery and Serena?
Misery wakes up next to her. They have this really honest talk about Serena's secret, her heritage. They're making plans. Misery might actually have a role in this new political world.
And Serena goes to where territory?
Misery takes her. Serena shifts into a wolf, fits right in, finds a sense of belonging. It's huge for her. Then Misery goes to find Lowe.
Big confrontation, a reconciliation.
His house is empty first. She reflects. Then he returns. Apologizes sincerely for the lies, explains it was always to protect her.
Does she ask him about being his mate?
Directly. His answer is careful. Focuses on the specific meaning of the word. Ambiguous, but implies something deep.
So intimacy follows.
Deep intimacy. Physical connection, strengthening bond. But she's aware of his duties to Anna, the pack. It's complicated.
They talk about Serena being a hybrid.
Yeah, the implications. Then Lowe has this intense, possessive reaction to Misery's scent again. Wants her close. Wants to mark her properly, solidify things. We get this glimpse of a shared future, maybe.
So pulling it all together from Bride, we've really seen these complex interspecies dynamics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Individual choices against huge political pressures.
And these completely unexpected bonds forming in the strangest circumstances. Love, loyalty, trust. They bloom in unlikely soil here.
It's a lot to think about. And again, for deeper dives into themes like prejudice, identity, family, the kind you find in this book, check out Mindful Moments on our YouTube channel and our other discussions too.
Absolutely. Bride really gives you a compelling lens to look at those big universal ideas.
So here's a final thought for you. If this story resonated, consider subscribing so you don't miss our future explorations. Maybe share it with someone else who loves these kinds of unconventional stories.
And if you want to read Bride yourself, check the link to support the author.
Most importantly, just keep thinking critically about the narratives we engage with, the stories that shape how we see the world around us.